What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Mike from NYC. We back with another reaction. Every American needs to hear this speech. Don't watch if you're sensitive. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not sensitive. I love things that rock the boat. This is from Strawberry Park, so let's see what's going on.
So this is called Every American Needs to Hear This Speech.
I'm American. I'm part of that.
We're all American.
If every
Facts.
high school principal gave the following speech, America would be a much better place.
Lock
to the
me in.
students and faculty of our high school, I am your new principal and honored to be so. I would like to apprise you of some important changes coming to our school. This school will no longer honor race or ethnicity. If you are black, brown, red, yellow, or white, I could not care less if your origins are African, European, Latin American.
I actually like that.
The only identity this school will recognize is your individual identity.
Yeah, because you see it at all these different schools, like colleges, they'll separate black graduation, this, that. You have Mexican club, this, whatever. The more you do that and acknowledge certain people and groups, ones that you don't acknowledge are gonna stand up and, well, you need to acknowledge me now. Well, now I'm a cat and I'm a furry and you need to do this for me now.
MLK's thing was, I want to be judged not off my race, but of the content of my character. So you can't claim to like MLK and then not agree with this, because this is exactly what he wanted. Humanity, character, and you as an individual.
Where you came from, you can't even choose that.
Yeah, you can't. That's
You are what you are.
So I'm with him.
I'm with him so far.
And the only national identity this school will recognize is American. This is an American public school, and American public schools were created to make better Americans. If you wish to affirm here an ethnic or racial identity, or a national identity other than American, you will have to attend another school. This includes after-school clubs. I will not authorize clubs that divide students based on identities such as race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or whatever else may become in vogue in our society. Those clubs cultivate narcissism, an unhealthy preoccupation with the self, while the purpose of education is to get you to think beyond yourself. The school's clubs will be based on interests and passions, clubs that transport you to the wonders and glories of art, music, astronomy, languages you do not already speak.
I feel like people would be mad at that statement. Let's assume I'm Japanese. Well, do they have Japanese clubs?
I'm sure they do, and I'm sure different high schools have, clubs that other high schools don't.
I remember I was on and people might remember this, it was called Black Saga, and I was on the Black Saga team. I was one black kid of a few, and there were all the other races, and all we did was study influential black people. So it wasn't exclusively black.
Yeah.
You had to be, in fact, it was actually a lot of other people.
Because you're right, because I was in Lubos Pasos, which was a Filipino club in college, and I'm not Filipino, but I was still a part of the club.
But you're not Filipino.
No.
Why were you there?
Because I had friends that were there, and they did this dance performance, and I was a dancer at the time, so
Okay.
they wanted me to choreograph and be in it. I would go to the practices and learn about the culture and the dances, the traditional dances and things that they would do.
Why not teach the different cultures to everybody? And then everybody can learn something. Oh, I didn't even know about Filipinos. There's a Filipino club, but me personally, I go well, I don't belong there because that's not my section.
Yeah, but then again, you can't push all these nuanced cultures and things on everybody, but it's open to everyone. Is that the only way to do it? Well, it's open for you to join, but someone's gonna walk around and be like, well, I'm not Filipino, I'm not gonna join that.
And I'd feel uncomfortable walking into the Filipino thing. I'm the only black guy.
And that already is gonna start, there's a Filipino club, black club, whatever, it's already forming the cliques and the...
dividing people. He's saying astronomy club, anime club, interests and passions, not identity club.
Yeah, that help the structure and foundation of these schools though, they need the clubs and things like that.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like this is a highly contested opinion, because let's say no black student union, a bunch of black people would be outraged.
Right, but is it wrong to make time in history class to teach us about every race's history? Or now are we not even supposed to be doing that?
White people can be a part of the black student union. Would a black person say, hey, why are you here?
The same way you said you might feel uncomfortable walking to a Filipino plate, there could be one or two that look at you and are like, why is he here? But that you just want to learn more.
Yeah.
And it's well, isn't the club for everybody? We have the Filipino club, it's only for Filipinos. Like I said, that makes things worse now.
If there is a black student union and you're a little blonde white girl who was fascinated with black culture,
And what if you have no black friends at all?
and you show up to that, let's keep it up stack here, you're going to be intimidated. That's how people would look at her and go, what is she doing here?
I'm trying to think, what's the argument here? What are we talking about? should you have like race identity things? Should you have like black clubs and white clubs and, well, I guess there is no white clubs, but should you have like ethnic group based clubs, only interest and passion, so no like, I mean, I guess like it gets tricky when it comes to like black history, because that's not, I guess technically it's an interest, but it's based off of an ethnic group, but it's not exclusive to black people. It's not like saying only black people can be a part of, you know, a group where people learn about black history. But if you have a black student union, that is only for black students. So I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. I'm having a hard time like figuring out like, okay, how much does that really matter? Because I've never been a part of a HBCU or a black student union, so I'm trying to figure out like what role do they directly play? I guess it depends on what role they play. But honestly, like, just my ignorance and based on what I know about it so far, I'm not opposed to like no exclusively black student unions, like no creating more division through race. Like, sure, if you want to have a community where we learn about black history, that's completely different. If you're saying that that's not cool, then that's different, right? Because I might want to learn about Mexican history as a black man. A Mexican might want to learn about black history. So I do see where he's coming from, but to have a group of people that is exclusively one race, the black group, the Mexican group, the white group, I'm not opposed to that not being a thing, even though it'll probably still be a thing. But for the schools or university to not acknowledge it as a thing, I'm not against that. I'm not mad at that.
And then now that white girl might be discouraged. Okay, well, I don't want to be about this, whatever. Can everyone just have camaraderie with one another and it not be based upon how you look?
Yeah,
right?
Then you just open those general clubs up and anyone can join, and there's no one being split into certain groups or anything like that.
Which is better? If we do black club, Filipino club, or robotics, anime.
That's how it should be.
Wouldn't you get more of a melting pot? I'm not saying these are inherently bad to have racial-based clubs.
It'll alleviate all of that. No Filipino club, no black student union, so no one could complain about anything. No,
right?
Yeah, that's what it should be. You want to join the robotics club, then join, and you'll be with different people.
All different people.
The only extracurricular activities you can imagine being interested in are those based on ethnicity, race, or sexual identity. That means that little outside of yourself really interests you. I do not care whether English is your native language. My only interest in terms of language is that you leave this school speaking and writing English as fluently as possible. We will learn other languages here. It's deplorable that most Americans only speak English.
I
but
agree.
if you want classes taught in your native language rather than in English, this is not the right school for you.
We didn't go to schools where there was like a lot of foreign speakers.
Yeah.
I know in LA there's a lot of Spanish speakers. What was your high school?
It was mainly English, yeah, but we had some like foreign exchange students and whatnot.
I took English class every year for my whole life. That makes sense. If you go to German school, everything gonna be in German.
Everything in this school will reflect learning's elevated status. This means, among other things, that you and your teachers will dress accordingly. There will be a dress code at this school, and you will address all teachers by their title. They are your teachers, not your pals.
How y'all feel about dress code?
The reason why I like
Wait, what did he say? I was zoning out.
School.
I was thinking about something else.
That you and your teachers will dress accordingly. There will be a dress code at this school.
Everything in this school will reflect learning's elevated status.
And you will address all teachers by their title. They are your teachers, not your pals.
How y'all feel about dress code?
The reason why I like this video, like I'm liking it, is because especially nowadays with the school systems and what's happening at the schools, there needs to be some sort of order. Y'all need to now wear uniform. You're now in trouble. You cannot talk to your teacher like this.
Well, these were the rules back then.
But then, you can't get anyone to wear a uniform right now.
By introducing uniforms, you alleviate a lot of problems. Now people can't be bullied off how they're dressing, whatever, and that's a big thing in high school. We visited a high school, and the kids were roasting each other on their fucking outfits, whatever.
I went to Catholic school in elementary, and aside from the religion aspect, yeah, we all had uniforms, and I don't think there was ever anybody making fun of anybody on what they wore. Mine was a pretty diverse. It was like half black, half white, I think, in all of my classes too. And then there would be the dress on Fridays if you paid like $5, and that was like people thought you were more cool that day, even if you had the garbage outfit or whatever. It was like, oh, you're lucky you get to wear whatever.
And I realized that recently. I'm like, my school had me paying $1 to wear jeans, bro.
$1 to wear jeans?
I was like, why are we getting charged?
Right.
They called it free dress day for $1, bro. I said, what's free about this? Yeah. They finessed that dollar. What did y'all need the dollar?
Yeah, I remember mine.
Well, Jesus needs it. It's Catholic school.
Yeah, mine was $5 for the whole outfit or $1 a piece. So it was like they upcharged you.
All in the name of Jesus Christ.
By obscene language, I mean the words banned on radio and television, plus epithets such as the B word or the N word, even when used by one black student to another.
That means you would have to regulate social media, which you can't. So
good luck with that one.
He's saying to implement some sort of...
Stop lagging. Come on. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Please. Like, I've been good to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, lock me in.
repercussion.
Stop.
Or the N word, even when used by one black student to another.
That means you would have to regulate social media, which you can't. So
good luck with that one.
He's saying to implement some sort of repercussion, like you got kids cussing at the teachers and they can't say anything. So maybe is he saying to have some sort of consequence if that happens?
I never cussed to my teachers or nothing. I cuss with my friends.
But just because we didn't do it doesn't mean the kids aren't doing it.
We will end all self-esteem programs. In this school, self-esteem will be attained in only one way.
Self.
The only way self-esteem can be attained, by earning it. One immediate consequence is that graduating classes will have one valedictorian, not 8. I am reorienting the school toward academics and away from politics and propaganda. No more time will be devoted to racism, sexism, Islamophobia, homophobia, global warming, tobacco, or gender identity. No more classes will be devoted to condom wearing and teaching you to regard sexual relations as no more than a health issue. And there will be no more attempts to convince you that you are a victim because you are not white or male or heterosexual or Christian. Now, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country.
If every principal gave that speech, the world would be better. The way outrage culture is, you can never get it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, you can never pull that off. There's no way that you could actually pull that off. Social media would eat that shit up. Like, literally eat that shit up. Like, people will be getting sued. Like, I just don't see it working. I mean, sure, it's a good premise, I guess, to try to get away from, you know, like, people are so caught up in their identity with their, like, so many people are caught up with just the fact that they're black. Like, they don't even know who they really are. They don't know their interests. They don't know who they are. They don't know their personality. They don't know anything tailor specific about themselves. They just associate with being black, and then they associate with being a male or a female. Then they associate with being transgender. Like, you're not discovering the layers of who you actually are. You being black has very little to do with who you are, opposed to your personality, your interest, your gifts. What did God give you? You know, what did God make it easy for you that he made hard for most? You're just, oh, I'm black, so I'm just gonna gravitate to this community because it's a community. Like, so I do understand it in the self-esteem groups. Like, it's just like, yo, like, at a certain point, it's just like, come on, like, enough is enough. Like, enough is enough. I get it, though, with the, you know, people needing to be reassured and eighth place trophy culture and, like, you know, all of that stuff. I get it. It's too much. Like, at a certain point, you got to take care of yourself. Like, at the end of the day, you can't be looking for people to, like, well, what about me? Like, no, you got to look at you and say, what about you? Like, what? You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, yo, what about me? What am I going to do to get me right? You know what I mean? It's like there's a balance between everything. Like, sure, you need people, and you may want to rely on people to a certain extent, but to what extent are you going to rely on people for your self-esteem. That's not self-esteem at that point. At what point are you going to rely on people to make sure that you're good in all aspects of your life? Sure, you know, maybe you want to rely on somebody, you know, for information, or, you know, in a very in some specific ways. But the more you have to rely on people, like, the worse is gonna become. Like, you're the only person, like, you're the person in the world that probably gives the most fuck about you than anybody else. Like, people may care about you and love you and all of that, but if you don't have you, like, you the only person that's gonna be with you at all times. So you might as well give you the power to make sure you are right. If you give me the power, it's, even if I care and love you, I'm not gonna always be in a position to reaffirm you or to make sure you're good. I'm not gonna always be a phone call away. You might not be able to contact me for a week. I might not be able to be in touch. I might not be accessible to you. You know, or like, oh, well, what about me? And I did good too. And 8th place trophy. It's just like, yeah, we gotta do a better job of like getting to the root, because these are just band-aids at this point. All this identifying with gender and race and age, it's just like, it's too much. It's too much.
And the Black Student Union, they wouldn't do that. Look at the military, for example. They don't care what your race is. They say everyone shaves their fucking head, put on the fucking uniform, and we're doing this. This is the mission, this is the task. And the military is very successful, and they're a really brave, strong, well-rounded group of people. Maybe if other aspects of society, like schools, had more structure to them and less la la la, maybe they'd run smoother and there'd be less issues, because now you got people identifying as cats. Teachers have to put litter boxes in the bathrooms now because kids start meowing.
Yeah, there's no structure. There needs to be some sort of, at least something to follow.
Or like, you can't show up at school as a furry and walk around like a dog all day.
Yeah, see, you got these principals saying this, but then you got other principals accepting the furries and the cats. So it's
Diversity.
what is a school experience gonna look like in like 10 years?
You'd never be able to control the students' mouths, but yeah, you could discipline them and the clubs based on interests. And instead, we're not going to tell you that you're a victim because of XYZ.
Yeah, kids should be able to go to school, or anyone who's a student should be able to go and be a student rather than worrying about other people's, what they're wearing.
You're there to learn.
Do your individual stuff at home.
What's the purpose of school? If not to teach you about math, English, history class. That's what you're there to do. Any other hoopla would get in the way of that. How do your schools run? Do you guys have uniforms? Do y'all have clubs that are based off of
Passions and interests.
or races?
Are you talking back to your teacher? Let us know.
How many valedictorians do y'all have? We had top 10 in our class, but we had a valedictorian.
Damn.
And then a salutatorian.
I was salutatorian in 8th grade, so I got a certificate that she probably printed from some free certificate.
I mean, I also got perfect attendance and I had a couple of laughs.
Okay.
They gave me a see-through star. That's like,
They're like, hey, what?
Okay, no one had perfect attendance.
There we go.
You never know. Went every day. How come you didn't miss a day?
I was there to learn.
Yeah.
You didn't get sick?
Even if I was sick, I knew my education was the most important.
Missing school isn't fun though. Like, bro, all the work you gotta do the next day.
That's exactly what I remember, because I just remember
Facts.
I hate juggling more than one thing at once. And I had an 8A, B-Day schedule, so I have 4 classes today, 4 classes tomorrow. I missed today, now I have 8 things of homework to do tomorrow. And my mom wasn't really helping me on my homework till like senior year, so like I was screwed.
Good thing we're not in school anymore.
Yeah, fuck that, bro. I would hate to be in school right now.
Go be a good American citizen.
Go be great.
Yeah. All these clubs, or a lot of these things are like band-aids on bullet wounds. I don't feel like we really get to the true root. You know what I mean? It's like we pacify, you know, these problems. It's like, all right, what's the root of you having a poor self-esteem? What is the root of you feeling like you need to identify with these group of people? What is the root of you feeling like you need an 8th place trophy? What is the root of all of these things? All this clubs, it's like nobody wants no problems, so it's just like, all right, we're just gonna let you do the shit that doesn't matter. Like, if you really look at it, like all the things that don't really matter, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you know, you want your clubs, all right, cool, you go ahead in the corner and do your thing, and everybody can reassure everybody and stuff like that. But when it comes down to things that, you know, more so matter, you know, it's a less tolerable situation, because that stuff pales in comparison to, you know, things that really matter, like, you know, the military or stuff like that, things that there's more important things at stake. Now, you know, we live in a country where it's like, all right, if it's not hurting anybody, fine. That's like kind of the motto. Like, if you're not hurting anybody, cool, do your thing, you know. But nobody really cares to be like, okay, what is actually wrong with these people? Why do they feel the need to, like, it's just like, I remember I saw this thing on this transgender woman, I believe, talking, and she was saying, like, if you wouldn't date a trans person, you're transphobic. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, imagine in any other context saying that. Like, imagine a short, like, somebody under 5'6" was like, if you wouldn't date a short man, you're short man phobic, or you're short people phobic, or if you wouldn't date black people, you're black phobic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody else, like, why do you care? Like, why do you need to be affirmed by people? And if you're not affirmed, you call them all types of phobias and shit. Like, that shit doesn't make any sense to me. Like, in no other context does that happen. Like, if you wouldn't date somebody because they make $30,000 a year, I wouldn't say you're broke nigga phobic. You just don't want to date somebody that's broke. You just don't want to date somebody that's transgender. So, like, why do you care so much? Let's get to that root. Why do you care so much? Why do you care to put labels on me and demean me and try to force me to like you and to want to be with you if I don't like you and want to be with you? That's the thing, man. It's different, man. Black people just want equal rights. We not even tripping. Like, you don't like us? That's cool. I'm not mad at that. Or black people as a whole, we not tripping that you don't like us. We not mad. Just don't disrespect us. Like, just don't beat us and stuff like that. If you don't like us, if you don't want to date us, if you don't want to fuck us, cool. Right? That's cool. We don't care about what you think. Just don't make our lives harder. That's all we ask for. But why now are we in a situation where you care so much about being so included in everything, and you want to be like, nah, if you don't like this, then you're transphobic. If you don't want this, then you're dysphobic. Like, relax. Like, niggas just be moving like bullies, bruh. Can we get to the root of, like, you not actually loving yourself? That's what I feel like it is. That's honestly what I feel like it is. Like, there's no way, like, you need my love to fill, you need societal holes, you need societal love to fill your holes, instead of you being able to fill your own holes. Which is why I feel like most transgender people, or at least a good percentage of them, you know, go and have their surgeries because they think, all right, boom, once I get this surgery though, like, as a man, I hate my life, I don't love myself, but once I get this pussy on me, man, you can't tell me nothing. Then once they get it, it's like, it's not hitting, and you know, they don't really talk, you know, it's not publicized and mediaized about all the things that people regret once they go through transitions and stuff like that. And so, you know, I mean, I can get into a whole thing, but, you know, I just want to end with, let's get to the root. Why do you care so much about what people say and what people think about you, bro? Why does it matter to you? Like, why does it matter to you? Like, I'm just imagine a grown-ass man going up to a girl. I'm like, yo, like, I thought you was really cute. I wanted to say hello. Like, you know, you have a minute to chat or whatever, or something, whatever. And she says, how tall are you? I'm 5'11". I don't date guys under 6 feet. You're short nigga phobic. And yeah, you're short nigga phobic, and you need to be condemned. Like, bro, what? If you don't go somewhere, if you don't go kick rocks, like, think about how stupid that sounds. But because we don't want to ruffle feathers, if you don't want to ruffle feathers, and we don't want to, you know, things that don't really seem to matter, we just gonna let you have it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like we trying to pick and choose our battles. Like, you know what? If they want to bitch and complain about people not finding them sexually attractive, or this, that, and the third, then fine, we'll give you that. You know, but it's just like, what is wrong with you that you think that you need to feel that everybody has to be sexually attracted to what you are? What is the matter with you? Something is wrong with you. Straight up and down. Like, I don't care what nobody say.